Hello everyone and welcome back to our 9-month adventure around the world, and today is a special day. It's somebody's birthday.
It's our ship's birthday.
It is. She turns 21, but somebody else is turning 21 the day after that too. You're going to see how we celebrate Nancy's birthday on the Ultimate World Cruise, and as well you're going to get to see Prins Cristian Sund, one of the most beautiful sets of fjords we've ever been through, and the wonderful, charming little town of Qaqortog Greenland.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we are living that full life, going all the way around the world in 9 months and celebrating birthdays on the Ultimate World Cruise.
Well, we sure are, friends. And now today we're going from Iceland over to Greenland, so we're crossing through the North Atlantic. Now, Greenland has a lot of ice, so we have to stay on the southern side of it. And the first place we're going to go through is the beautiful Prins Cristian Sund Fjord. And like Mike said earlier, we can't say enough wonderful, beautiful, amazing, awe-inspiring adjectives, yes, about this fjord. It is absolutely just breathtaking and not to be missed. And so, friends, we will have that sailing at the end of this video, so I hope you'll stay tuned and watch for that.
Right, because we could fill up the whole middle of this video with
yes.
10 minutes of just of beauty and glaciers, and in fact we saw little towns along the way. I couldn't believe those communities were there, you know, that are all isolated on the fjord. And we'll just show you that sailing and the glaciers and everything that we saw. So
the captain even does a 360 at one of the glaciers. So yeah, it's very, very beautiful. Serenade of the Seas has turned 21 today, and they were having a nice celebration in the Windjammer. They had a monstrously large cake, and they had Serenade sailing through the fjords and just having a happy birthday party for her.
Yep, she's 21, so they can finally bring alcohol on the ship. We haven't had that during the whole world cruise, so you know it's good to have that now.
Well, and as we finished off this day, we saw one of the most beautiful sunsets that we have seen on the entire world cruise. So that was absolutely stunning. Well, the next day, though, is a special day for
Somebody's birthday. Yeah, okay, there you go.
And the morning started with Joff, our cruise director. He was announcing he announces birthdays every day, so he announced my birthday on TV.
Yeah, you can hear that here.
4 guests with a birthday today. Good morning to Nancy. Morning, Nancy on deck 9. Happy birthday to you.
And we walked up on deck then after that to watch the sail in.
What a charming little town as we come in. And so it is important to note here, this will be a tender port for us. There's no dock here for a ship our size to come in here to Qaqortog. But yeah, that was no problem. It is a fairly protected bay here. So unlike many of the tender ports we've had during the Ultimate World Cruise, we didn't have any issues getting into this one. There was fog in the morning. And in fact, you can see a picture where our ship is here and the big bank of fog is right behind it. You can't even see the ocean out from back there. But it was a beautiful sail-in.
It was. You mentioned that it was a little town, and little is right because their population is just under 2,000. So it is a very small town. In fact, you can walk the entire town in just a very short period of
maybe
time.
half an hour, 40 minutes from all the way to one end to the other.
Yes.
They do rely on fishing primarily. Tourism are their two big industries here that this town does rely on.
We walked back to the room after being on deck watching the sail in, and our room steward had decorated the room for my birthday. That was a really sweet surprise. Her name's
Freddie was great.
She's so nice. She's just, we had such a good relationship with her, so that was really sweet.
You miss her here at home.
Yes, of course I do.
You have to get on me to make the bed.
we got on our tender to walk the town, and when we arrived there, one of the first things you'll see is a little tourism office. You can go in there, you can pick up some gifts if you like. You can also book some tours that are in the area. But we had decided we were just going to walk the town. I mean, like I just said, the town's very small. And as we're walking around, that's one of the things we saw was another Royal Caribbean tour that was walking the town.
Yeah, doing the same thing. They had the popsicle, the lollipops are, up there holding it up. And yeah, so we were kind of doing the same thing they were doing, which was really just going on a walking tour. Now, one of our friends did take a Royal Caribbean tour, and they had a tasting. They were supposed to taste like whale or something like that. He actually said it was pretty average. The food and things that and it was supposed to be unusual food, but he said it was kind of just average. And in the end, they walked a lot of the same places we just did. So what we did is we turned right from where the tender is. We walked around that way, and then you can walk through the neighborhoods, and you're just walking through neighborhoods up to the top of the hill. And there's a beautiful overlook up there that you can see the ship, you can see the town, and it's really worth that walk. It was quite a hike. You can see the stairs back down here.
Well, and one of the things I really want to mention too that you may not think about is that the gnats were horrific, horrible.
Yes.
We had to stop and put on bug spray, which we had brought along in a backpack.
And we'd been warned, and
yes,
through research we knew.
A lot of people purchased kind of a netting that goes over your face, and that would have been a very practical thing to have. It would have been very helpful.
Yeah. Now the picaridin we used, that we've recommended that in past videos before, did work. We had to put that on. Once we put that on, they didn't bother us too much then at that point. So that was effective.
But do be prepared for that if you're coming here.
Yeah, summer as soon as it's everything thaws here, the gnats are really bad. So just be warning for that. So that might be something you pick up from Amazon. You can pick them, but they're not very expensive. Those little mosquito head nets. Or use a really good either DEET-based or picaridin-based bug spray.
So we walked up the hill to the top of the town, and it was a really nice overlook. We could see our cruise ship, and just a pretty walk. The homes there are also very pretty, very colorful, like in many places that we have been.
Yeah, some of them even have murals on the side and things. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And you had heard about the famous Greenland hot dog
that's right.
at Qaqortog.
We got to continue the hot dog challenge. So we went and found there's 2 places here in Qaqortog that you can get a hot dog. We went to one that I'd heard about. Again, how do you say it?
Qaqortog.
Qaqortog. Yeah, it's got a lot of A's and O's in it.
And Q's.
Yeah. So we went down to that, and the older gentleman that was running it was very friendly, and it's worth it. Even if you don't want a hot dog, it's worth it to go to his shop because it is so eclectic and kitschy. He's got all kinds of it's like going into a grandma's garage sale inside his place. Just, everything, I mean, random stuff, as seen on TV stuff, Coke, billboards and ads, and just really neat stuff. But we were there for the hot dogs, so we got 2 hot dogs because there's 2 different styles. And one of them is called a French style or a pocket dog, or they also call it
They call it a puka
pocket dog, yeah. And we got that one, and because somebody recommended it, and what they do with that one is they hollow the middle of the baguette out, and they insert what they call French fry sauce in it, and then they put the hot dog in. And then the other one was a
risset dog.
Yeah.
That has crispy onions and some sweet pickles on it, so all the toppings.
Yeah, and a hot dog like mustard sauce. That one was really good. The pocket dog is more of a traditional Icelandic Greenland style dog, but the other dog we liked much better. So as we were trying them, we both tried it. We both really liked the one with the onions and the pickles. And in fact, as I was taking a bite, I was like, could be top 5 hot dog here.
You were really happy with
So when you're in Greenland, be sure to give a hot dog a try. They're very good here in Qaqortog, and it makes for a rather affordable lunch, which in a place that's normally very expensive, they're about $5 for a hot dog.
Well, as we left there, I just want to mention too, there's a picnic table outside, so you could eat there if it weren't for the
It's a
gnats.
beautiful view, but yeah, the gnats
Yes.
were awful, yeah.
Someone else had set up a little stand with a money box that they had painted rocks. So if you wanted to purchase a little souvenir of a painted rock, you could, and then
Yeah, that
drop
was
the
kind of
money in the box.
That was kind of fun. It was just randomly sitting on a street corner, you know. But like we said, there are two industries here: fishing, seal fur, and tourism. So, but speaking of seal fur,
Well, we're going to the Great Greenland Fur Factory is the next place we're headed to. So this is a seal factory, maybe a little controversial. We don't mean to get into that, but
Yeah.
it was interesting for us to go inside and to look around. Now, one of the things they ask is no photographs inside where they are actually sewing the seal fur. So we totally respected that. You can take a tour where they'll take you into where the sewing machines and all of that are, but we just walked into the gift shop, and from there you could peek into where they were sewing making all the garments and everything.
right? And they had lots of things: gloves, hats, coats, everything for sale in there.
Shoes, boots.
Yeah. And so, as we said, this might be a little controversial. Now, in Greenland, this is legal for the native Greenland people to hunt seals, to produce the fur, all of that. Europe has actually recently changed their laws to allow the direct import of this if you're on a tourism trip like this. Now, you want to check those laws. They had them printed out and they had different things. The U.S. has different laws. So always when you're dealing with something like seal fur, check with them, check your local laws, and know before you try to bring something in and get in trouble with customs. Well, we left the seal museum and the seal fur trading area, and you have to walk through this real industrial area, but don't let that concern you. Especially if you're coming the other way from the cruise ship, it doesn't look like you should go there. It looks like a junkyard or industrial area. That is where you walk through to get to there, so don't let that intimidate you. But we walked on through. We went past the tourism building we mentioned in the beginning, where the gift shop, and now we're on the other side of town. We walked by a small museum. We didn't go in. A couple people did, and they said it was kind of a schoolhouse kind of museum, historical museum. We walked by one of their famous churches. We saw the stream that runs through town. It's just really beautiful. One thing that caught our eye was a supply house. So I thought of it like a mini Costco. You know, it's there because that's where they get their supplies. They buy things in bulk. You can get a hot dog there, and some people were doing it. It was the pocket dog,
Pukas.
the puka dog. And in fact, we saw that's where they get the fry sauce and mustard and all that the place where we got the hot dog got it from. So he buys his supplies there.
Well, when we left the supply house, just outside there was an area outside where you could see them creating different cuts of meat from moose and seal and different things like that. And the locals were there purchasing those meat cuts.
Yep. The lady was very proud of it. She took me over and
Yes.
showed me everything of what they're doing. Well, we walked on from there, and we had the goal to go see the reservoir or the lake that's up at the top. So we started hiking up the hill. Beautiful hike. It is a little bit uphill. On the way, we did pass the Ice House Bar. This is probably one of the more famous restaurants. There's only really two in this town. And it's pretty famous. People will go there, have a beer, and they're real famous for their hamburgers and their pizza. But it was so crowded, we really didn't go in. We just headed on up. Well, we got up to the lake, and it's a beautiful overlook. You can see the lake, the town, everything up there. Again, Greenland's beautiful. You can't take that
really
away.
is.
It's gorgeous. But from there, we decided, we had seen that area. We're going to go ahead and start heading back down toward the ship. Now, there is one more area we're going to look at, and that's the sculpture park. This whole area is very famous that there's sculptures, and they've carved into the native rock all these faces and animals, and it's certainly worth seeing, and you can't really miss it. It's pretty much right there where the tender of the cruise ship drops you. If you look up and go to the left, you'll see a rock wall, and you rock right up there, and it's quite beautiful.
It is. That was interesting to see. Well, another place we went to before heading back to the tender was we stopped inside the local grocery store. Now, honestly, prices weren't horrific on many things, like the little fry sauce was, I don't know,
$4.
$4. But the beer was Very expensive.
Yeah, I thought it was actually fascinating. So some of you may or may not know, we live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it's known as Beer City, USA. And one of the more famous brewery here is Founders Brewery, and they had Founders beer in Greenland. So I had to take a picture of that. However, that beer was about $10 a bottle. And they did have a local Greenland brewery. And I picked up a couple bottles of that just to try on the ship, bring it back for friends. And we tried that later in the cruise, and we got together and sampled some Greenland beer. It was pretty good, actually. But again, it was $6, $8 a bottle for beer in Greenland. Well, we left the grocery store, and it was time to start heading back to the ship. I'd actually planned, at least I told Nancy, I'd planned a quiet little dinner in Izumi, her favorite restaurant on the ship, the sushi restaurant, with just our small, tight-knit group of friends. At least that's as far as she knew.
Right. I was expecting it to be a table with just the 10 of us. But surprising to me is he had reserved the entire restaurant with so many people that had become friends of ours.
It's almost 50 people.
Yeah, so that, that really surprised me, and it was a lovely 60th birthday. Some of the decorations I think you had sent initially to the foreign exchange student who we were with back in France and Germany, and so she gave you some of the balloons and
the
decorations
hanging things,
at that time.
So I snuck those back on the ship after our adventure that we had when we got off the ship in France and Switzerland and Germany. So if you haven't seen those, you can go back and see that. But that's where I snuck the decorations on board.
But friends, you hear us speaking so much about our friends who are on the ship, and they've just become like family to us. They really, really have. And we've just met so many wonderful people through going through this world cruise that we've just gotten to know so well that this was really meaningful. And you'll see pictures here. There's Zarko and Tressa, who they've got the YouTube channel BZ Travels, so be sure to take a look at them. Leslie Nielsen, she has the YouTube channel Point My Soul North. She is just one of my dearest friends on the ship. And actually, there's another person I want to call out, Lisa. This is a funny story, friends. On Facebook, we have a Facebook group of the World Cruise. Early on at the beginning, I saw a post that mentioned that Lisa had put up there, and she had mentioned that she was from Kansas, and it had her last name there. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, I know somebody by that name. I know somebody, and I look at it. Could be her. I went to college with someone. Anyway, I said, I'm going to watch for her. And the very next day, I saw her on the elevator. And I said, Lisa, did you go to college at Wichita State University? And were you in nursing school? And come to find out, she was in nursing school with me way back when at Wichita State. We went to school together, and then she had continued on and become a medical doctor. And what a neat reunion for two people. We had no idea we were going to meet each other. I hadn't thought about her in years, and it was just so cool that it's a small world. To meet somebody that you know.
Well, it was really nice, too, that we had some comments afterwards that, we have this core group of 10 friends of us that will always get together. And sometimes you get in your group and that's who you hang around with. But we had become friends with so many other people. We invited all these people to Nancy's birthday. And so you had people who knew each other, just tangentially, but they actually ended up sitting across and sharing a meal together here at Izumi. And we got great comments about, I knew this, knew of this person, but never really knew him, and had this great conversation. Oh, I didn't know this person. And so an event like this really can bring people together.
Yeah,
so.
and here it is. Basically, we're at the end of the cruise, and some
people are still making new friends.
That's right.
That's right. So everybody sang happy birthday to you. You can see that here. To you.
Nancy.
Happy birthday, dear Nancy. Happy birthday to you.
Hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hooray.
Well, after your birthday, we headed back and hit the rack because we have a big day tomorrow. We're supposed to go to Qaqortog Greenland, where we had a tour scheduled to see icebergs and go out on an ice boat and all this, but that's not going to happen. Turns out there's a big storm in the North Atlantic brewing, and they want to get us ahead of that. So Royal Caribbean has made the decision, once again, to reroute us to get ahead of this storm. So we're going to skip Qaqortog Greenland, and we're going to go straight to St. John's, Newfoundland, which is going to take us a couple days to get across the North Atlantic. But once again, a benefit of this, much like happened in Amsterdam, we're not going to just have one day in St. John's. We're actually now going to get to overnight in St. John's. So you'll see that coming up. But now we have a couple sea days since we're not going to Qaqortog the next day. And on the first sea day, I went and gave part 2 of my bourbon enrichment talk and presentation. That was a lot of fun. It's on the history of bourbon, who's who in bourbon, why certain bourbons are named what they are, etc. It was a lot of fun.
You did a nice job.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did that in the pub. We also just kind of hung out. We really are starting to cherish our time with our friends. You know, we just sat and had a drink. We tried those couple of bottles of beer that I bought at the grocery store. We sampled them. But it was just a nice crossing as we were heading into St. John's.
And I caught up on some of the laundry that I needed to do. Now, Royal Caribbean will do laundry for us. They do 2 bags a week for us, but I don't like to send off things that are delicate, that I have any risk of them shrinking or any damage, so that I want to take care of. So I do those pieces on my own.
Yeah, yep. So you can see what the laundry room is like in the exciting life of a world cruiser on sea days here. Well, the next day, as we mentioned, is St. John's, Newfoundland, and this was so much fun. We are cherishing every day, but we become official Newfoundlanders. We get screeched in and we meet a furry friend.
And that was a lot of fun. So friends, you're not going to want to miss that. Also, be sure to stay here at the end, where you're going to see that beautiful sailing through the Prins Cristian Sund Fjord. And we will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.